All right. Looks like we are getting live right about on time. Right on time, actually. Fantastic. Okay. I'm gonna mute myself. Actually, I actually want to see. I'm playing some music. Want to make sure it's not coming through. It's not good. Okay, so the system volume is not coming through the stream. Good. Excuse me for clearing my throat. Hello to anybody who is currently out there. All right. Okay, let's see here. Hello and welcome. Okay, so we are live. Am I missing something? I don't think so. I think we're just going to get going. A little warm here. So we'll take this off. It's turned out to be pretty nice out recently, so we have cold brew coffee today for the Upskill and Chill coffee drink. What coffee are you having today? This is something new. I tried. I decided to try. Um, Trader Joe's has a cold brew, a French roast cold brew concentrate that I saw walking through the store. I was like, I'm gonna give that a shot, and it's pretty good. I haven't gotten around to ordering my beans yet to make my own cold brew. Last couple summers, I like to get my beans from Folly Coffee here in Minnesota. Shout out, and turn that into my own cold brew that I really like, and I think it's pretty good if I do say so myself. Um, okay, let's see. So, um, music share for today. Let's just start right there. Been listening to this Chill Synth FM from Night Ride FM on YouTube. It's a live radio station. It's always playing cool synthwave uh, background tunes. So I've been really enjoying that as my playlist recently. And all right, I guess we should probably just get a move on here. So, subject for today is. See, I don't need that open. Sorry, it's actually kind of odd doing this without Courtney here. It's gonna feel a little weird running a solo show. The host co-host, the two co-host thing really makes it a lot easier because Courtney and I can just have a conversation with each other, and then it feels really normal and natural. And then if people watch, great. But I haven't done one of these just me, and I'm realizing I have to generate all the conversation. So, um, subject for today. I am part of a side project that is going to remain stealth, other than saying it's a side project. But something that I need to learn to contribute to this side project is how to build a good map to show um, user locations. We'll just put it at that. And I haven't done anything with maps before. And I figured I dug into it a little bit the other day. Let me share my screen here. We'll go screen one. There. Okay. I dug into it the other day and I found these two great videos. So shout out to WebDev Cody for this one. And then I actually started here with this one from the JavaScript Way on YouTube. Go check this out. Give him a watch and a like and whatnot. And he's just showed how to put together a simple implementation of Google Maps in a Next application. And it was really straightforward and really easy to follow. So I did that just to get that rolling. And let's see. So let's start out by let's go npm run dev here in our upskill and chill. I want to open NeoVim. Excuse me, I didn't pull the mic into my mouth to cough there. That's not great, and I don't like that behind my as much behind my editor. But so in here, let's see, I've got. Let's hide that. Okay, so let me search for where we've got our links here. What I want to do is I have some code from that one video that already puts a map onto the screen, which is fantastic. And I want to kind of start from that and move forward. I got some ideas is what I want to do, but I want to do it in the Upskill and Chill repo because Courtney I know has experience doing some stuff with some maps and layers. So I would love at some point to get his opinion and his like insight onto what he knows about. I bring up my local host here. What he knows about maps. So I want to. I had put that other Google Maps in its own repository for practice, and I want to bring it over here. So I want to make it its own thing. So we'll say map, and then we'll do maybe maps, because I might end up doing more than one. We'll see. That can always be changed later. And then I think. Well, let's see here. What's our page? Oh, this is page. Okay. App source page to do page. What's this? Okay, so this is the actual page that's rendered. Okay, that's right. So within Nuxt, it's to do and then page. So if I want to do a new page for maps specifically, then we bring it in here into our maps page, which I think this will target this link. And then wow, I'm really blanking. This is tough to like. Oh man. Okay, let's take a look at that other page. Oops. Okay, what am I doing? Sorry. Okay, really good start here. I'm just gonna go and take this and put it over here, and we're gonna come down and close that, and then we're going to change this to maps and export default maps. And then we'll put a, just for test here real quick, we'll put a div in here and say maps. Oh, return maps. There we go. So then if we're over here, let's see, if we click on the link, maps, there we go, we're here. Okay, so this is the page that we want to be on. Fantastic. I want to add maps page, and over here we're going to yeah, we'll take all of that into Git, and we'll say git commit message add maps route. Would that be, or link plus format? Okay. And then there is something over here. That's from last time, and we'll come back to that another time. But I think I have everything I need from that file. I don't think we need that. Oops. Did I really just do that? There we go. Okay, so here we are in the maps. We have the link from the home page and here, and then the way I like to organize my tabs, because I work in tabs, and I know some people talk about that maybe not being the most efficient, but so we got to do page, and then we're going to componentize, modularize. I've got app. I'm going to make, we can maybe change it later, but I'm going to say components directory, and we'll say Google map.tsx. So that will create that in here. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to grab that code from the other directory, the other project, and put it in here. Now I'm going to have to add some packages. Cut inner tag. Come on, do it. No. Okay, maybe fine. Actually, we'll just. Man, I'm actually a bit rusty. Map, auto import that, bring that in here, and that's going to give us an error because I haven't installed the dependencies yet. So the dependencies that we actually need, I'm going to kill the server real quick. And those came from this video here. So I'm going to find started a Nuxt project, and then down here at the bottom, he's got these two dependencies here. I'm going to move this over so we'll go npm I, and we're going to add in Google Maps JS API loader, and also at types Google.maps. Just want to double check and make sure. Yeah. So those should install. Great. We'll go npm run dev, and we will make sure. Actually, not that one. See, while I'm over here, can I check to see if there's anybody else watching? It doesn't show me anybody else watching. I'm not sure if this always updates very well, but it's okay. So I'm gonna go back over here and refresh our app. And I think we're a green light go. So after that, I know we're gonna have to fix this linking, but maps here, and there's maps with our marker on Minneapolis, Minnesota. So this implementation works. Let's come back over here, and I'm going to do a little bit of Git work for a second. Wonder why. Okay, yep, we implemented. So let's add that to Git as well. git commit add um, Google Map component, and then git add package and package lock. Status git commit add Google Maps deps. Okay, and I'm actually not 100% sure why it's saying to do page. This is at page. Okay, so let's go check out to do page. Oh, that's right. And that was from. All right, that's gonna annoy me, so I'm just gonna add it. We'll just add that real quick. Comment from last week. Okay, now we can get rid of that. All right, so now that we have taken care of a little bit of business, let's walk over a little bit of what I built this yesterday, following again that video from what is it? Oh, what's this? The JavaScript way, right? Go check them out. It's a very straightforward, great video, and we walked through a little bit of React, a little bit of Google API. So inside of the use effect that happens on initialization, there's the function initialize map, and we create a loader from the loader package from Google Maps, and this is going to load our map. And it requires an API key from Google Maps, which I already have in my .env, and then a version. So then, inside of this inside of this function, we're going to create a loader. Then we're going to get a map out of loader.import library maps. There's some SDK syntax here that I probably need to become a little bit more familiar with. And we get our map. And then we set up a location from latitude and longitude. I just went and I found the latitude and longitude for Minneapolis. And then we create a marker from the import library marker from Google Maps. We got our types here as well. We have options. So we're going to center the map on our location here. We have a zoom level, which is the zoom level of the map, and then a map ID. And then we create a new map, right? We brought our constructor in here. We create a new map based off of our options. And we have our map ref, yes, here for our use ref, so that we can reference. We have a ref to the map, and then our options here. We get our map, and then we add the marker to the map. So then new marker. So this is the constructor again for getting a marker. We select what map we want the marker on, and then what position that marker should be on. So position is being used in a couple of different or location is being used in a couple different places, where we want to center the map and where we want a marker for the map, right? So those can be separated, obviously. And then Google Map right here, we have a div, we have our ref, and then that ref is indicating where our map should be rendered. It's going to be rendered inside of our Google Map div, which gives us this, right? I'm just curious, what happens if we delete the Google Map text? Nothing. Okay, so so does that mean that we can then simplify the syntax? Does it need a closing tag, or can we make it self-closing? Can we make the div self-closing so it's just a little bit neater? We refresh. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So there's our map. Now, that's obviously the location is static. This is a very basic implementation. So what I wanted to do today. Wow, we're already 20 minutes through this. That's nuts. That's nuts. But what I wanted to do today is going over this web dev Cody video that I mentioned earlier, he's talking about a little bit of his implementation. Unfortunately, he didn't make like a GitHub repo, so we don't have just code. So I actually have to like scroll through this video and look at the code that he has in place here. And it's looking like he has his page, and then the Google Map. So like on this page, and then he has this component accepting some props, so he can control it from this level, because this is the level at which he is bringing in um, his state container style Google Map. Okay, so let's see here. So, oh, okay. So his map is not self-closing. He has a component doing like this, and then he has stuff here. Really wish I could just see the code that he has here. There's a marker component. We don't have a marker component. We just have a marker constructor. Okay, so there's some other wizardry, and he has an info window. It looks like these are some different components. So let me do a quick search here. Let's look for Google Maps React marker component. Is there a library that I'm Google Map React Google Maps marker component? Okay. So he might be using, so he has a map component, renders a Google map, and it can place as children into, it can be placed as a child into other components, but it also has to be somewhere inside an API provider container. Okay, so this is a component library already built up for this sorts of thing. Controlled and uncontrolled props. Default message. It kind of looks a little bit different in the syntax. I don't think he mentions anything in the video about actually using this library. I don't think. One second. Oh no, he is. Yep. React Google Maps. There it is. He has the import right there. Okay. So he is using a component library. I missed that because I went first to the one where from the JavaScript way where he actually just made let's see, this component on its own. But there is a library that's already done some of this for you. Oh man. Um, hmm. So the question that I'm thinking of is, do I just go and load that other one? which would make this component here basically irrelevant. But it'll be a lot easier. Or do I spend some time trying to turn this component into the sort of kind of thing that's happening over here with React Google Maps? Obviously, it's not going to be as good, and I only have a little bit of time. Um, hmm. I could mess around with this. So what I wanted to do is there's a service if nobody else knows about it. It's a random user generator. It's an API that you can hit for free, and it will send you back random users, and they have all kinds of information in here, just for dummy data to fill your site up with stuff. And one of the things that they have is, what is it? User location, coordinates, latitude and longitude, right there. So I was thinking that I would hit and pull down 5 of these or 10 of these or something, and dynamically insert some longitude, latitude to get some different points on the map around the world, um, just to kind of go through that exercise to learn the map better, practice some React fundamentals. How much time do we have? We're almost halfway done with the um, stream already. These streams are so quick. Probably because I'm indecisive and I'm just sitting here and jabbering to myself. So I don't want to do it this way. I'll do it this way. And I don't need no, what am I doing? I don't need all that in there. Those are types, I think, specifically. Or okay. So what if we went ahead and worked on trying to make this somewhat dynamic? So what we're going to do is over here, we're going to need some notes. So we're going to use fetch to pull random user data, store in state, pass to Google Map. I think that's kind of all we need at this level, right? We'll get the data, we'll pass the data, and then I think once we pass it in here as a prop, we'll do everything else inside of there. So this will be, Google Map will be kind of its own wrapper, if you will. So at this level then, what I'm going to want is to import a marker component. How do I properly modularize this stuff? So we've got the marker code here. Does this need to have, I don't see it, like it's all coming from the same loader, right? We bring in the loader first, which is attached to the API key, and then everything comes out of that, right? The map comes out of the loader, the marker comes out of the loader. I got this graph. The marker constructor comes out with that. So the loader, so that's what they're doing with this React Google Maps, and that's why they have a API provider component which wraps the map component, because that's going to provide. Okay, you put the API key in the API provider, and that creates a context, and it's going to pass it down. And I haven't touched the context API in a while. So then it ends up here. This is what I'm looking at. Oops. This is what it ends up looking like, right? You got the API provider. You pass in your key, API key, and then you have your map here to which you can pass locations. Let's check out the marker. So the marker is nested inside the map with a position of latitude, and longitude, and then you can put the position there. So yeah, the center is separate from the marker because they shouldn't be bound to each other. Advanced marker, info window. Yeah, okay. Info window attached to marker, which is something you want. So I mean, the library's already done it, and to do all this would be quite a bit of work. So now I'm indecisive. I mean, if I was doing this on my own, I would just pull in this library and start learning this because this has already done a lot of the work for me. Um, since I'm trying to see, like, the whole upskill and chill vibe is that we're going to do it ourselves to try and learn. Okay. Let's see. Let's try this. Go to find.com. My favorite, really the only AI tool that I use. Let's go to Playground and let's say, how do I make a simple React content provider component? See what it comes up with. So provider component. See, what does this look like? So we create a context, like I said. Provider children. It's going to be wrapped. Well, this is good, actually. I want to do this. This is something that I would like to know more about. I haven't done this in a while. You have a state. Update the state. Update the age. Return the context. So my context provider, the value, state, update that. So you're passing those. You're exposing those. I guess if you want to say globals, down to the children, and then you use the provider, you put in the provider, the div, components that need access to the context go here. Consume the context. Use my context. From my provider. Use my context. Let's see here. This is just my provider JS. Export my provider. Let's use my context. Use context. There it is. Okay. You're creating a hook. And then you can pull. Okay, so it's just a hook. It's just a custom hook in that way. You're just creating a hook. It returns some state, and you can consume the state inside of greeting here, inside of the provider, right? So greeting is inside the provider, and it has access. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's see how quickly. This wasn't the initial focus of what I was going to do, but okay, so we'll go. It's always one more question. It's always one more question. So I'm always thinking, okay, so that's the page. We have our components. Would this be providers context. I don't really want to put it in components. That doesn't really feel right. Would it be in hooks? Maybe not, but that's the thing that sounds the best to me. So we're just going to get moving here. So we're going to create a hooks directory, and inside of it, we're going to create, let's call this map provider.tsx. Yeah? Okay, so then we're going to do map provider tsx, and let's get going. So we're going to import React. We're also going to need create context, use state, use context from React, and then it says create a context with a default value. Okay, so const. Now that my context, so we'll call this map context equals create context. Okay, so we've created our context. Const map provider. Now we're making the and we need to be able to access children. Expected 1 argument, but got 0. We'll see if that becomes a problem or not. But so we're gonna have children, and we'll have in here. Const. We'll say sorry, key, set key. Over here, use state. Just make an empty string for the moment, and then update key. New key, and set key equal to new key. Yeah. So that'll be available for equals there. Oh, probably need an equals there too, don't we? Okay. New key here. Let's go over here. It's going to be a string. Children. Yeah, so children, it's going to be, what is this going to be? It's going to be like HTML element. Do something like that, nice and generic. Wait, is that not? Oh, what am I doing? It doesn't need the brackets. I don't think. Has it? Okay, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. This is not how we do typings. Children here. When we do can't find my proper. No, hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Oh man, so typing in this form is always a little tricky. So I want to make We type it here. So we got the children is an object. Object which HTML element. Ah, man. Okay, I just. Yep, yep. I thought so. Okay, I was close. I was close, and I was seeing this in my head partially. So if we go functional component, we'll just say map provider props, and then we go interface map provider props children element, something like that. But now we've got a whole bunch of stuff that's unhappy. What is unhappy over here? Okay, we got some syntax errors going on. Let's see. Const. Yeah, well, I need a no key equals use state at got export const. Ah, this is React functional component. It's the type of my provider. Hmm. Oh, TypeScript. You make things better, but also you make things more difficult. Um, yep. Those children. Parsing. Yeah, okay. Is it just going to be better to do it this way? Still get that same issue. Map provider, React functional component, map provider props, children. Um, wow, I'm just stalling out here. This is pretty bad. A little embarrassing. Uh, so it's talking about how it's a function returning void. Because it needs to have a return statement. I was so focused on the typing and everything, I forgot. Like you're making. So, is this a functional component or is this a? Maybe that's the problem. I asked it to type me a functional component. See what it says here. I asked. And I'm really just using this as a search. Like I want to study this and get the. So here, this is probably very helpful. Oops. So how do we type this context? So we have it showed me how to use it and consume it, and we'll come back to this. But I asked it, how do you type the context? So it is functional component. React. Okay, so here, this is probably an important difference. And then this is the inline typing here. So React functional component, and then you make the object with the children and then the type after it there, as opposed to what we have, which I've definitely seen a lot, but um, I like the conciseness of this, and we're gonna use this. So brackets, curly braces, children, React node. Functional component, React node. Cannot find name React node. Okay, so yeah, that's easy enough. We import it, and then we're also going to type that context, which I like that idea a lot. So we're going to see, define the shape of your state, which we don't have to do because the state is just going to be a string for the moment, but we will map context. Should we not use a type if we're calling it a type? But so it's taking, key is going to be a string. And then we also have update key, which is taking in a key, which is a string, and returning void. Right, so far that's all the pieces we have. So then we can take this, and my context is going to create context. Oops. This or undefined. We're going to initialize as undefined. Okay, so now we have our create context typed. I'm always down for learning more stuff about TypeScript. I really enjoy working with TypeScript, and I love the type safety and all the benefits of it. But it does add density. So learning how to type each of these things appropriately. So we have a React functional component, which I've used before, and then using the brackets, and then we're destructuring here. So we destructure here. See that pattern? Yep. Instead of just putting a type in between here without the brackets, and then for our props, which would be just typing the object of props, we're going one level deeper, and then React node. Yep. Okay. And then I guess this is taking in just a string, so we don't have to explicitly type that. Okay, now the return, it's actually super important, as we already found out. And we're going to return the map context dot provider. See, I'm just going to copy what they have here for the moment. Value key and update key. So and then I think I need those there. Yeah, I got too much stuff going on here. And then here is where we put the children. And then this means key Maybe I should call it API key. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm just realizing that uh, I'm just realizing that a key is also kind of used elsewhere. If you're looping over, if you're mapping over an array of things, each one of those needs to have a key. So it's a little bit of a reserved um, item. So I would um, prefer to have this differentiated a little bit. So we're going to have API key. And that those values, that object of values then is going to be available within this provider. And then, okay, so that's the provider. Let me look at this back here again, I guess, for a second. Okay, so I was half right earlier when I said it's a custom hook. The provider is just the provider, and we're creating a context and a provider, a context provider. And we're actually not exporting the context provider. Um, we're actually going to uh, use map context is what we're going to create. And where does that my context type coming from when I use that above? Okay, so this would be map context type. And we're actually creating a custom hook here. And we're going to create a context out of use context. Oops. And that's going to be map context, right? Yep. So we did the create context up here, typing it with the context type. Then we get our map context. And then that's what we're using to initialize this context. Then they have a nice little if check here. If not context, we throw a new error, use map context. Use map context must be used within a map provider. That's their little thing there. And then we return context. So this is the, oops, what am I doing? The custom hook. And we're going to, so actually, we don't do that. We want to go up to here. There's no default export for this file. It's just a couple of named exports. All right, I went over that all pretty quickly, but I'm hoping object literal may only specify known properties. Yeah, because we need update API key. There, that'll fix that error. And we should have a context in which we can pass our API key, and it will create a context and return our context. Just making sure I see the patterns here. So use map context. I'm going to create a context based on, I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm just based on the context we created here. So we're creating the context in 2 locations. We're creating the context here. And then creating it in the hook based on that one. So I think um, we're creating this context based on this context. This is the initialization, and the hook is going to create it here and return that context. And then when we use my context, we get these values available within the children. So let's oops. Okay, so we've made that my this map provider. Import. So we have some different levels we're going to do this on. So I think here I need to import map provider from. Oh, you're not going to give me my nice. Okay. This is where my NeoVim setup needs some help. So where is it? Let's see here. Out one to hooks map provider. So out one hooks map provider. And then we're going to no, what? No corresponding closing tag, you say? No, little syntax error there. Okay, so now we've got the map provider in place. I'm also noticing that the map provider does not have a location for taking something in. So the map provider, okay, so we've got children, but then there should also be um, on map API key, which would be a string. Because the whole idea of the provider is that we want to be able to initialize our loader inside. Okay, so actually, so yeah, API key, map API key is what's going to cannot find map API key because it didn't. Yeah, okay. Let's see. So we've added to the type. We're accepting it here, then we're using it to initialize our state, and then that's going to pass the API key down through the provider and accepting it into the provider. So then over here, map API key process, if I can type, dot env dot, and let's just put that in there as string. And so that's going to, okay, so learning about providers was not my stated goal for today, but that's where we went. um, what are you going to do? But that's also kind of how the last several episodes of Upskill and Chill have gone, is that we think we're going to get this far, and then we really just scratch the surface on that far, again because of building things on our own. But that is the point of the whole show, because it's about learning. And I learned, right? I haven't gone through this process in a while. It's pretty straightforward once you understand what you're doing. What I would like, let's do this real quick. Let's just see let's make sure this works. So if I come in here and I comment out this line, I'm going to save, and I know that's going to break things. I mean, that's kind of the point. We're going to refresh. Failed to compile. Export. This is maybe a different issue. Oh, up here. Okay. Let's comment that out for a second. I want to get this in a state where it's working there. And then I want to comment out the API key. Page can't load Google Maps correctly. Right, because there's no API key. So what I want to do now is accept. No. What am I doing? It's the whole point of the context. So we consume the context. There was to get access. So this is where the import comes in, and we're going to import use map context from, right? Use map context is what I called it. I don't know why that isn't working now. That's really frustrating. So we're here again. It's out hooks and map provider, and then we come down here and we're going to say const map API key use map context. Map API key, map context, return context, use map. This is here, use map context type. Yeah. Oh, it's just API key up here. I need to map API key. Gotta make sure it's. I missed a couple locations. Okay, come on. Values never read. Okay, that's what we want. So then map API key, save, refresh, and there it works. Okay, cool. So it's working properly. Okay, so we're using the context. That's fun. That's a fun pattern. Um, so we have the map provider. We're passing our API key, and then this component, Google Map, has access to it through our context provider. And then we can continue this pattern kind of in the way they did with they returned inside of they nested inside of Google Map, then they returned markers. But actually, my plan was going to be um, was probably on this page level to call to call the data and then pass the data into here, accept it through props here, and then um, location would become dynamic, and we would map over and create markers and um, and put them in the map, uh, you know, new marker map and all that dynamically from that level, just to keep things just look like one step simpler. But yeah, okay. Um, did not get nearly as far as I thought we were going to, but again, that's kind of been the theme of the show, and I learned stuff, and that's always the goal. Every single show is to learn something because I'm just sitting here learning live on screen. That's literally the entire purpose of this. And maybe somebody else learned something as well, or if nothing else, you guys can sit there and kind of chuckle while I struggle with typing for syntax and and other silly issues. Cool. Well, I think I've embarrassed myself enough for one day. uh, that was fun. That was cool. That's a fun pattern, and uh, I'll probably come back to this on my own off camera and work more of it out, and then maybe by next week when Courtney comes back, he and I can either review this a little bit, or I can maybe do just a quick demo show of what I was able to put together off camera. We'll see if I got time for that. But cool. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing. And awesome. Well, thanks for watching. If you're here live, or if you're watching after the fact, and maybe I'll be able to clip some of this up, and I can make React context providers the subject of a post, and hopefully, again, share some knowledge with others. I'm gaining it here live, and then share that out so anybody else who's curious about it and how to properly type it is also gonna somebody else gain knowledge from my own struggle. We can help build each other up a little bit at a time. So with all of that, I think I'm going to say yes, that is the end of what we're doing here for right now. And I'm going to hang out here for a second, let my stream catch up, and then we'll call it quits. But thank you, anyone, for watching either now or in the future. And I hope you gained something from that. I had fun and learned some stuff. And we'll see you again next week. My co-host will be back from his Rockstar tour in Europe, and we'll keep pushing forward on this stuff. It's fun to be back after last week off. So have a good weekend, and a good next week. And we'll see you later.